Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us.
What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
For you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hey, good morning, Huntsville. Welcome in to another edition here on episode number 59 and a little hometown spotlight edition as we're on the road, man. We took this bad boy on the road, Greg.
That's right. I'm glad to make your first road trip.
Yeah, Billy decided he's going to go on a little family vacation, so I said, you know what, we'll bring the vacation to Greg and I today.
There we go.
So
glad to be here.
It's good to be on as always. We appreciate you, Huntsville, and thanks for joining us. I'm going to crank up my volume just a tad here this morning. And let us know what you're thankful for out there today. We have a lot going on this weekend, and we're excited this morning as, again, we are live from the University Bookstore here. We're on campus today, and it's a special day. We got a little special exclusive show for you. Russell Martinez will be joining us a little bit later with the university. Also, Garrick Long, he's the manager here at the bookstore. He's going to give us some insight, but we are, one day away now from Conference USA, the official move. So that's why we wanted to be here today and highlight that. And also wanted to remind you, just send in those text messages. We'll throw that up on the screen in a minute. We've got some gifts that we'll be giving away today. As always, you can text the keyword winner alongside your name to 936-339-0139. We've got a Sam Houston shirt that we're going to be giving away today at the end of the show. So, again, send in that text message. Let us know you're out there today, and we'll get to that. But here we are, as always, on a Friday, joined by our good friends from Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, Mr. Greg Smith. Greg, man, good to have you, and I love the hat this morning. You're already decked out, ready to go.
Hey, this is my everyday attire. This is not a hat that I wore just specially for today. I wear this every day. It has my name inside of it because it was given to me by Jay Sirianni, the baseball coach. This is the same cap that the baseball team wears. I lost one of them, so I'm not going to do that again. I got my name and phone number inside of this cap, so I wear it every day.
There you go. Reminds me of my dad back in the day. He had it was like this heating rod. Kind of think of it like a soldering iron.
Right.
But it was used to etch in your initials or your name into tools and everything.
Sure.
So every tool that my dad had, it had his name etched into it. And I was going through tools the other day, and my dad used to always get mad saying, "Where's my screwdriver? Where's it?" He was very peculiar about his tools.
Right.
I went through, I found a box of them. I said, well, that's probably where they are. I have about half of them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. We always want to to thank those that came before us, and that's what you guys do at Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. You're the experts at celebrating life. Before we dig in, and we'll be talking Sam Houston throughout this morning, what have you been up to, Greg? What's been going on in your world?
Well, it's always exciting. There's a lot of things going on in Huntsville year round. I'm very active in the Chamber of Commerce. We had a couple of Chamber of Commerce events that we participated in this week. The Business After Hours, hosted by yours truly, Mr. Rob Hipp, and then we have Business Breakfast coming up. We had our ambassadors group that met on Tuesday morning, where we go out and make pop-up visits, and then as far as the funeral home goes, we lost a Huntsville icon this week, Mr. Bubba Garcia, a longtime football, baseball coach at Huntsville Independent School District. Bubba was very influential in building the dynasty of the Huntsville Hornets. He was primarily in the middle school, but he laid the foundation that got the high school players to where they were. And he's worked for most of the coaches throughout the years, and was with the school district for over 30 years. And so we lost a good one. And he's very well loved, very well respected. His services will be at visitation 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and then the service immediately following at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I saw the news there, and was just, your heart kind of shatters whenever you lose great people and an icon. And I love this community, though, Greg, because everybody lifts each other up, and you guys are in the business of that. I love the motto that came out, years ago, was the experts in celebrating life. And I tell Billy this all the time, and it's good to see you, because Billy's been, he's been holding down that seat for about a month now. You kind of turn the reins over to him.
Right.
But we talk about it every single episode. Of course, you guys are the sponsor on Fridays, and so we absolutely want to make sure that we highlight you. But it's more than that. It's being involved in the community, and even more than that, it's showing compassion to families at their most difficult time. You've been in the business for a long time. What have you seen in the years in the industry as things have moved on? I mean, people pass away, that happens, but what has changed in your particular industry over the years?
Well, Huntsville's a real traditional town, and I don't think you have seen the changes in the Huntsville like you have in maybe the bigger metropolitan areas. We're still a traditional town. The majority of the people the families we serve still choose to bury their loved ones, as opposed to the rising cremations throughout the United States. And so we're very traditional, hometown tradition, hometown values, and that's what we pride ourselves on.
Speaking of tradition, today, orientation here at Sam Houston State University, an amazing place to be. This university continues to grow. We'll talk with Russell Martinez a little bit later this morning when he comes in about just the growth and this move to Conference USA. But, man, I'm going to tell you, it is amazing, Greg, that we have a university here in Huntsville, Texas, 22,000-plus students. I think the numbers, I don't want to misspeak, but I've heard stories that said we could be close to 30 in the next 10 years. This transition has been amazing. You have been extremely involved in the university. I always enjoy your story about tailgating. Maybe there's somebody this morning, Greg. I know you've told it before, but maybe there's somebody this morning, because we have a lot of new interaction on the show. You have a very interesting story about Sam Houston State University tailgating. Enlighten us again this morning.
I do. My son, Will, played football for Sam Houston. He graduated from high school in 2001. Coach Ron Randleman recruited him out of Willis High School, and he was a Bearcat from 01 to 05. And I remember coming up to Will's first game. And we had a motorhome at the time, and I thought we would be rolling into a tailgating situation, kind of like A&M or, the bigger universities. And so we roll up in our motorhome and ready to cook, do some cooking and tailgating. And there was one pickup in the parking lot. And one pickup in the parking lot. There was no tailgating at Sam Houston State University. There was two guys in the parking lot. It was Larry Graves and Leroy Wilkerson. And so those are the first two people I met when Will played football. We rolled in, and so we parked over by each other, and those two guys came over and introduced themselves. First time I'd ever met either one of them, and so we became great friends after that. But I thought, we got to get some tailgating going. So I sent out an email. I got Coach Randleman to give me an email of all the parents' names, and so we sent out an email to all the parents. Say, hey, let's get some tailgating going. And so the next week there was one or two. They brought campers or little pop-up tents and stuff. And then there was 3 and 4. Russell Humphrey had a motorhome. And he brought his motorhome. Russell and Tish came out, and we started tailgating. And before long, the Alumni Association, they just had one little 10 by 10 little pop up tent. They popped up right over there, back where we were doing it, and it was in the parking lot right there at the entrance to Bauer Stadium. And so, there was 5 or 6, 7 or 8, and then we started cooking for the football team after every home game. And so I can remember seeing those football players single file coming down. They'd go through our little tent and the awning there before the motorhome and table, and we'd serve them a barbecue dinner after the game. And so we started doing that every week, and it just got more and more and more people. And so I've told you before, I take 100% responsibility for starting tailgating at Sam Houston. There was none in 2001.
That's why I wanted to mention this, because I wanted to make it clear today, if there was any doubters out there, any haters out there, Greg, today that has been washed away.
Yep, that's
Greg
right.
Smith, the founder of Sam Houston State University Tailgating. What was some of the early food? You mentioned barbecuing for the players, but what was some of the early food that you guys were having out there?
Oh, it was just a little bit of everything. Anything you can cook on a pit, from chicken and sausage, barbecue. We cooked hamburgers. We cooked steaks. We took up donations, to feed the team, and so just we'd come up with your typical Texas Saturday afternoon football tailgating fare.
All right, there you go. We always have to make sure that we start this show with a little bit of food in the morning to get you hungry, to get you feeling good, and so that's what we do. Again, going to be a fun one here today as we're highlighting the history of Sam Houston State University. As I said earlier, traditions. The freshmen here today, Garrick was telling us earlier, and I'll let him talk a little bit more about it, but they're really going to hammer home some of the traditions with these new freshmen coming in. With this move to Conference USA, it is a very huge deal for this university as they move forward. I think about the leadership of a gentleman like Bobby Williams, and you think about how long that he has been here, I believe 40 years now, associated at some level with the university, of course, as a coach, and then moving through the ranks to the athletic director. And I don't know if there's anyone else at that level in the nation that has seen the changes that he has seen in his years, moving a university from a small scale to a large scale on the athletic side. You've been a part of it as a fan. You've seen that too. What have you seen over these last, 15, 20, 30 years, Greg?
Well, it's incredible, the changes that have come here at Sam Houston. The campus has just exploded, and we've had some tremendous presidents over the years, and I've had the pleasure of knowing the last several, and they've all done a great job, and they have really taken this university to new heights. And this move to Conference USA just puts a stamp on that we're here in the big time now. The schedule, if you look at it, we play all over the United States. We're not just playing in Texas and Louisiana anymore. There's advantages of that and disadvantages. I love to go to away games, and so we're flying out to Salt Lake City, and we'll be going to the BYU game out at Provo, Utah. The first game, and so we're excited about that. So it gives us some opportunities to travel to some new places that we hadn't been before. But it's it's a little easier to get in the car and travel to Lake Charles or Natchitoches than it is going to Salt Lake City. So there's advantages and disadvantages.
That's right. And speaking of just that game coming up, to get things rolling, we're looking now 2 months away. It's going to be here before you know it. You blink your eyes. I thought it was pretty neat. Greg and I are both in the Rotary Club here in Huntsville, great community service organization that we're just blessed to be a part of. And our good friend Michelle Spencer, the president of the Boys and Girls Club, they were she had stood up yesterday. She put a little teaser out there, but there was some video stuff that's going to happen. So Michelle and the Boys and Girls Club of Huntsville are going to get a little bit of recognition all the way there in Salt Lake City. I thought that was great, not just, of course, for her and the club, but for our community as a whole.
That's right. The local news has been in town for a couple of days interviewing Michelle, and so they're going to do a big story before the game out there, and they're flying her out and her family out, all expense paid out to the game, and she's a real rock star.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's going to be great for this community. We'll talk more about all this transition, the things that are on the horizon, the TV exposure, the media exposure, a lot of great things happening here in Huntsville, Texas, and thanks to our friends at Sam Houston State University for this move that benefits them and it benefits all of us
That's
here
right.
throughout this area. Did want to take this moment, as we always do. A lot of folks already joining in this morning. We want to say hello to our friend Matt Childers. He won the prize yesterday.
Oh, he did?
So he got 2 range
Good.
passes over to Guardian Defense. Rob, I've been texting in, man. We text every day, and finally the randomizer selected Matt Childers.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Matt. He said happy Friday.
Matt's coming up is going to be the new chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, and so he's going to be taking over this next year, and I know he'll do a great job. He's with Vera Bank.
Yeah, and you know what's great about someone like Matt? You know, he comes into this community, helps get that branch opened up, and then all of a sudden, man, he's just all in. And I think that's what's so special about Huntsville is if you want to be active, there is no shortage of opportunities here. Just ask Greg Smith. Somehow he stays awake 28 hours a day, 380 days a year. So, Greg, you're creating time, and we're going to figure out how to market that and sell it. And for generations, your family, and I'm going to help you market it because I want in on it.
Yeah.
They won't have to work for the next 10 generations.
Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, somebody's going to have to pick up the slack. But, it's all about relationships. And I tell everybody that I see, and I have mentored many people, in the funeral business and the real estate business. It's all about relationships. It doesn't make any difference if you're selling cars or real estate or what you're doing. You've got to have relationships. The only way to get those relationships is just go out and meet the people. And the Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce is the absolute best at starting developing those relationships. If I were new coming to Huntsville today, first thing I would do is join the Chamber of Commerce. I would join a local service organization. I'd join the Rotary Club. I'd join the Lions Club, and I would become active in the church and use your sphere of influence there in all of those places to market your business, and it works.
It does. Again, Greg Smith joining us this morning as our co-host every Friday, one of our Foundation 5 sponsors here on Good Morning Huntsville. Appreciate him, and Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. Other folks chiming in as well. Jennifer right here saying good morning, and she's looking forward to a Friday, saying have a blessed weekend. Caitlin also chiming in today, and she is saying good morning. I love it. Have a fabulous Friday.
Fabulous Friday.
Sometimes you say have a great
There
Friday.
you go.
I like that word fabulous once in a
too.
while. Rick Boning over Tomorrow's Promise, another one of our Foundation 5 joining us this morning. Kay had posted this morning. They're over there doing the new construction of the new Tomorrow's Promise Academy, and she said, "Hurry up and wait," was her post. So they're waiting on some testing to get done over there to make sure everything is good to roll. Jay Elms joining us. Good morning to you. And then our good friend Robbie Diamonds. He changed his name though to Prison City Jeep Guy. Used to be Robbie Diamonds. What happened to Robbie D's, man? I told him, I said, that sounds like a DJ name one time.
does.
He goes, well, people call me that all the time.
Yeah.
And now it is Prison City Jeep Guy. I hope I didn't give away any secrets there on you, Robbie. But he said, Caitlin, the day is yours. Own it.
There you go.
Well, we're going to own this day as we continue to move. Let us know what you're thankful for this morning as you're waking up with us on a Friday, the last day of June, as we'll continue the show. We'll step aside, take a break, and when we come back, it's our good friend Garrick Long. He'll join us on the other side. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
I know all things.
We're talking beards this
how
morning.
Did you know that?
I know all things.
That's impressive.
We're talking beards this morning as we come back in on Good Morning Huntsville. This is why we're going to come up with an exclusive membership. It'd be cheap, $5 a month, and you get to hear behind the scenes in these little breaks. We're talking about Garrick Long over here. He is the manager, University Bookstore, and really under the umbrella of Barnes and Noble. But
Correct.
we want to make sure that folks know what's going on over here. A lot of merchandise. Greg was browsing. I was setting up a few things, and
I was fixing shelves.
I had flashes of Fargo over here because I'm seeing some hoodies. You guys are, that's in the back corner right now, of course. But I'm sitting here thinking, man, I don't have to wear that stuff anymore too much.
Listen, we'll have students walking around on campus. It is freezing cold outside, but the guys are in shorts, flip-flops, and a hoodie. That's all they need.
That's all you need. So, Garrick Long joining us this morning. Welcome back in. Good morning, Huntsville, as we are here live on campus today. We call it a new series here, Greg. We named it the Hometown Spotlight.
There you go.
So once in a while, we're going to do a little Hometown Spotlight series as we recognize and just really get connected into the community away from the studio. Studio, of course, is sponsored by Elliott's Jewelers. You can visit them online at elliottjewelers.com. But, Elliott, we brought the studio here today. Garrick Long again joining us. Garrick and I had the privilege and the pleasure of working together, I say many years ago, man. Everything seems like
Feels
yesterday.
many years
but he was
ago.
my producer back in the day when I was calling Bearcat games. And Garrick and I had a lot of fun, things that, we'll keep off the show here. That's just, you got that circle of fun things,
That's
Greg.
right.
And but it's nothing too bad. We just had a lot of fun. And whenever Garrick had reached out and said, hey, why don't you guys come to the bookstore and bring the show on the road? I said, man, what a great opportunity to be here and just be surrounded by this momentum with Conference USA, the official launch tomorrow. Garrick, what have you been up to, man? What's been new in the world of G Long?
New in the world of G Long, jeez, it's just getting this place in order, getting it ready for the fall semester. We're supplying books for over 22,000 students, and they need multiple books.
That's
so
the Bearcat bundle, right?
That is the Bear. Yeah, I'm impressed. Thank you for remembering that.
Bridget knows the Bear. I learned about it through Bridget because, of course, she was going to school here before we decided to go up north.
Right. Yeah, no, it is the Bearcat bundle. And so we supply every single textbook for all the students who are opted in. And so if you think about it, that's on average 5 classes. You could have anywhere from 1 to like 10 books a class. So we supply all of them. So we are getting our first major shipment of like 6 or 7 pallets of books next week. So
it's a lot going on. Garrick, let us know a little bit again. Garrick Long again joining us this morning here on Good Morning Huntsville. Welcome in, by the way, everyone. Garrick, let us know a little bit more particularly about your role. I know we say University Bookstore, but contracted through Barnes and Noble, I believe.
Correct.
So let us know kind of how all that works and what you do on a day-to-day basis around here, man. I like that. That's always the best response. Well, let me see what don't you do?
You're exactly right. I have my hand on everything when it comes to supplying the textbooks, getting the adoptions, talking to professors. I had a conversation with Dr. Warner yesterday, but I also met with auxiliary services for 2 hours. And then today I'm giving a presentation to the orientation group that's coming in. And then we have our org fair tonight. And then I'm here early for y'all. So we're doing a little bit of everything here.
And Greg, he was here late for us last night as well as we were setting up. He tries to get out of here.
It wasn't that late.
I mean, we were throwing down. It was almost time for a margarita. It's margarita time.
No, but then this guy figured out he knew what I did after I left here, though.
Yeah,
I didn't even see him though.
Greg Smith knows everything.
That's right. The all-knowing.
The all-knowing. No, but when we talked about community earlier, this is the man who gave me my first break in my previous business. So it took a little bit, but he warmed up to me and then came up to me. He's like, Garrick, I need you to take a look at my roof for me. And I was like, yes.
That was a big
Finally.
deal, yeah.
It was my biggest roof at the time. Then his Willis location was my second biggest roof. So it was an awesome experience, and I greatly appreciate this man because he gave me my break. He gave me the opportunity to prove what I could do, and was able to follow through. So
and Garrick
I do
did
appreciate
a great
you.
job.
Thank you.
We put 2 roofs on thanks to a little of the Texas hail. And Garrick did a great job for us.
I used to joke around with you back in the day. You're calling the little golden nuggets from heaven. Was that what it was back in the, like everyone except a roofer thought that was the greatest thing on.
Exactly right.
The insurance guys, I'm sure, love that time of the year. They cannot wait.
It's what they do. So
Well, Garrick, you've been here, through Sam Houston. What have you seen over the years? What have you really enjoyed most about just your journey, being in the community, seeing things grow and change? What's been most exciting for you?
Growth. Like the university itself has expanded so much to the point to where when I came here, SHV and Raven were the newest dorms. Now we have the Sandjack, we have Lone Star. I couldn't even tell you the name on the other new one on the other side of campus. They've redone both. They redid the dining hall, which was Belvin. It is now Old Main, and then they added a second one on the other side of campus to where that's General. So just the absolute growth that they've done for the students on campus. We have several new buildings, CHSS building. Then we have the arts building on the south side. They updated the theater building. So just in the past 10 years, there's been massive growth and improvement to the campus because they are wanting to better themselves. And so moving to Conference USA is just another one of those signs of wanting to better themselves. So.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Here's the deal. The train's going to go whether you want to get on it or not. That conductor says all aboard, and if you're not all aboard, that train's leaving.
That's correct,
and
with or without you.
That's right, and the all aboard signal was made about a year and a half ago about this move to Conference USA, and you think about the transition, hopping into the FBS, and I think now you get to play up there with the big dogs. You're already playing some very talented schools in all sports. But this is huge for Sam Houston State University. I think it's huge for East Texas. It does put us a little bit farther ahead now than that old purple, good old purple out there.
Oh, wait till you see that shirt.
I'm sure Coach Leatherman's watching this morning, and he'll say something. He always does. He's living over in Jacksonville now, but he always likes to chime in a little bit and bash the orange. But you know what, buddy? A little orange looks a little better than purple in my opinion there,
Absolutely.
Doctor or Coach. So. But this transition has been so good, and Garrick, you're here in the bookstore. What's the vibe that you've seen? I know that classes haven't started up yet,
right.
But there is this. I don't know how to describe it. Just this renewed energy. I think all of us can feel it. Greg, you can feel it. All
Absolutely.
of us in the community can feel it. What have you really sensed? In the terms of excitement, what have you seen?
There is a sense of excitement, especially with this upcoming season. We still have our game at NRG this year, so we get to play against Air Force. So that's my biggest game that I'm currently prepping for. I'm helping design a game day T-shirt for it, so that way to commemorate that game. So it's going to be awesome. We'll be set up inside the NRG Stadium, but I think just the excitement, it's going to be a little weird not having playoff football at the end of the season, but I think it's going to be exciting because, man, crossing fingers, those bowl games, that's what's going to be exciting. I can't wait to go to one.
Yeah, and everybody said, well, we want to play for national champion. I heard that a lot up at NDSU. Great folks, great organization. Love the folks up there. Still talk to them. I mean, I talk to some of those guys almost daily, to be honest, just because we made some great friends. But the role, it's kind of a 50-50 split up there because they have everything ready to go if they wanted to, except the region. It's really tough because of geographic concerns up there. But I look at it like this. This is an opportunity to take this to the next level. And Greg and I are on the same page, and you probably are as well, man. We're only limited by what we think. Mm-hmm. And if we wake up every day and say, oh, well, how are we going to do that? Are we going to be – we've seen other places that this has happened to. Man, just change. I heard it from an old preacher one time. I love it, Greg. You know what he said? He said, quit your stinking thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. The train is off, and I think it's time to hop all on board. You have great folks in a business community such as Greg and many others that have been so supportive for so many years. Greg, I'll direct it to you. As a business owner, how important is it for businesses to be plugged into Sam Houston State University?
Well, I think it's huge. Obviously, the university is one of the largest employers in our city and in our county, and it's for a business man, it's an opportunity to plug in and develop relationships. Like I said before, it's all about relationships. So you can develop those relationships with the university, develop them with the city through the Chamber of Commerce, through our service organizations. It's all about relationships, and that's a huge part of this community is the university.
Yeah, and it's great too. I think there's this family atmosphere. We experience it with the local school district here in Huntsville. We experience it. Heck, when you walk outside in Huntsville, the family atmosphere. I say it every show, and I'm not joking. You can literally hug people and tell them you love them in Huntsville, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is.
And people embrace. I was talking Matt Childers yesterday on the phone. I told the president of a bank, I love you, man. He said back, hey, I love you, Rob. Thanks. And it's just, that's the relationships that we have here in Huntsville. And Garrick, again, like I said earlier, you've been a part of it. You've seen a lot of change. You mentioned the excitement earlier. You talked about these games coming up and designing the shirt for the Air Force game at NRG. I'm so glad that gets to continue. What else are you really looking forward to with this transition? On the student side, what are you happy about the students? Because you're around them all the time.
I'm excited for what we're able to add here at the bookstore, per se, because with growth out there comes growth in here for my business sake, I guess you could say. So we're going to be gaining more designs, more opportunities, more brands, opportunities to collaborate. So business-wise, that's going to be exciting. So
it's good stuff. Garrick Long here. Let us know a little bit more about the bookstore. What can people find in here? Because I'm seeing some really cool gear. I've still got actually a couple of notepads just because I like that new SH logo that came out, a few years ago. What's in here? What can people get? It's awesome. Let us know about what you got going on in here.
So I know we have bookstore in the title, but you're not going to find a lot of books like this. I know they can't see it on screen, but this is our books right here. So, but it's anything and everything Bearcat is what you're going to find in here. I have all the clothing, mugs. Yesterday, after I dropped off my kids at Tomorrow's Promise, Rick caught me, and he was asking for a new coffee mug. And so I found some in a couple in the back. I sent him a couple pictures because he wanted it to be at least 20 ounces. I found it, gave him 2 different options. He was like, heck yeah, I'm going to get one of those. He can't decide between which one, though, but he likes them. But I've got anything and everything, the teddy bears, my little plush Sammy.
Wait, hold on, let me go back. There you go.
So Sammy's awesome. I think we're one of the few campuses who actually gets like a mascot plushie. So that's exciting. I've got tons of those. Hats, beanies. I've got Sam Houston neckties, So,
I love the walking Sammy, by the way.
Yeah.
Basketball back in the day said, Rob, that's a special logo, that was reserved for us, and now I'm getting to see it on other shirts. He may have just been being a little biased to the program. That's okay. We love that. But that walking Sammy, man, that is ultimate.
Well, our upcoming guest, Russell Martinez, was instrumental in bringing the walking Sammy back.
That's
That
important.
was his idea.
That's some of the tradition. Before we let you go, Russell is here. We got to open the gate, let him in here in just a few moments.
Is he waiting patiently over there?
Just texted him. But,
Okay.
Garrick, I did want to give you one final opportunity. Yesterday we were talking, of course, Bearcat orientation today for the incoming freshmen. We saw the conference hall, and that area in there is all just decorated beautifully right now. Chairs are in there. You're going to be in there in a little bit later this morning, too. What's going on today? The traditions are so important, and I think, part of what you mentioned is really a heavy focus now on traditions for these incoming freshmen.
Correct. So our orientation leaders are doing a great job at implementing those, but they're also holding an event on campus today from 1:30 to 2:30 right here in the Frank Parker Plaza, right outside the bookstore. They're going to be celebrating our move to Conference USA, so it's going to be a hot day. So they've got ice cream, they've got games like cornhole, things like that. So I think they're just doing different things around campus to help bring the excitement. So the closest one to us is that out in the plaza.
It's going to be great. So here we go, the official move, the final day of June as we wrap up, and July right around the corner. We got to ask you, what are you doing 4th of July, man? Are you off?
I'm on the beach. Oh, yes.
The beach?
Yeah. We're going to Galveston tomorrow.
All right, there you go.
So loading up the family, going downtown, or excuse me, not downtown, but going past downtown to hit the beach and be there for the weekend. Super excited. The kids are excited. So
what's the bookstore hours next week? I mean, are you guys all obviously probably closed on Wednesday or not? Are you guys open on 4th of July?
Well, no. So 4th of July is Tuesday. We'll be closed. Actually, LSC's open because they're hosting a camp. So they're still open. We'll be closed. Company holiday. I took Monday off. I used some PTO. So I won't get back till Wednesday. So 3-day week. It'll be weird, sluggish.
There you go. Garrick Long, Greg Smith and I may join you. We'll see you at the beach, my friend.
Sounds good. Come on, man.
All right. Well, there you go. Garrick Long, we appreciate him. Come by and support the University Bookstore. When you're in here, say hello to Garrick. He is so instrumental in this community and tying in students and fans with the university here through the great merchandise that you see. So come on out and let's support our Bearcats. Garrick, tell them the phrase there, the Eat 'em Up Cats on the count of 3. I'm going to leave it to you.
No, not a group effort?
It is. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Eat 'em up, Cats.
We'll step aside, take a break. Russell Martinez joins us on the other side. Before we do break, let us know you're out there, what you're thankful for this morning. Also want to remind you, text in. We got a Sam Houston T-shirt. And on the back end, I'll have you back on to announce this.
Sounds good.
But we got a shirt we're going to be giving away. Just text in the keyword winner along with your name to 936-339-0139. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Hey, good morning, Huntsville. Welcome back into Good Morning Huntsville. Rob Hipp here, as always, joined by Greg Smith. He's our Foundation 5 sponsor on a Friday. Special little hometown spotlight as we're joined here today. Russell Martinez, Sam Houston State University. Aware of many hats, my friend. You've been here for a while, and it's good to catch up with you, man.
Rob, good to see you again.
It's been a while. You know, I think Greg's here.
Thank you.
I think the last time you and I sat down like this and did an interview, we did one kind of virtually back in the day, but the last time we were there in Frisco, Texas, celebrating a very monumentous occasion.
I tell you what, there was nothing like that. That experience was just amazing for everybody. So I appreciate the opportunity to be back.
Yeah, it was a fun time, and you've been around the university for a very long time. Yeah. I don't know how, because every time I see you, you get younger and younger. I think you're going on about 24 now. So before we dig into the university side of things, man, I've enjoyed just keeping up with you. And even though I went up for a little while, I called it an 8 month, no disrespect to anybody up there, but I called it an 8-month paid vacation. We're happy to be back in East Texas, but I kept up with you on social media. And, man, you were just out. You're a working machine. I need to get some landscaping advice from you, Russell.
Well, if you look at it right now, you probably don't want anything from me. The drought's not helping me much, but it's a nice therapeutic break to kind of step away from everything that's going on and just work in the yard. I got that from my dad. Yeah. And I didn't appreciate it at the time growing up, but now I have a much more healthy appreciation of what he taught me there. So
yeah, well, our yard is pretty bland. We luckily we rented out. Or I told Bridget, she said we ought to sell the house. I said no, I just have this gut feeling like eventually, because how this community is. You get here and people just embrace you.
Hold your back.
And it's like they don't. And I don't say this in a bad way. They don't let go of you.
Right.
I mean, a perfect example. Can I say this, Greg?
Oh,
we went and had lunch. I'm up in Fargo. 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And I get a text message from Greg, hey, you want to go have lunch today? I was like, what do you mean, man? He's like, well, I'm here in Fargo. So I went and picked him up at the airport, and we went and had lunch that day. I mean, heck, I couldn't even gone 2 or 3 weeks, and Huntsville's already pulling me back.
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
I knew all along you'd be back.
Yeah.
You can't get away. So.
And he told me that, too.
That's right, I
He
did.
told me
You'll
that
be back.
day. And I hadn't even started yet. So
Yeah.
thanks for planting that seed. But
Well, you said call it an 8-month vacation, paid vacation. I would call it an 8-month prison sentence
Oh, man.
up there with the snow and the ice. And
You know, if you're going to choose vacation, with all due respect to the fine folks of Fargo, I would not choose Fargo as a vacation location.
No.
Especially during the wintertime when we were there. So that's good.
it's good people. And, you know, that's the thing I always say, Russell, and you know this too, man, is if you're looking for good, you'll find it. And there was a lot of good and great there, and there's so much good and great here. And you've been a part of this community virtually your entire life. You've seen so many wonderful things. And I said earlier, we'll dig into the Conference USA and more about the university. But, you know, what have you seen? What have you really embraced and just loved about this community and Huntsville and the surrounding areas?
You know, one of the things that you have to say about Huntsville, it's tradition, it's history, it's hometown. No matter how much it continues to grow, it's still going to have that small town feel. And I think that's because of the people who are here. And even if people move into Huntsville, they quickly adopt that mentality, that hometown mentality. So there's just a magnetism that draws people in. And I think it's because of some of the industry that's here. You know, it's long-term employment for a lot of folks. You have generations that are here and are perfectly fine being here, and that's what makes this community so great. And when people come in, they're welcomed. And even though they leave, they come back, they're welcomed just the same.
I think that's important too, and this can go even deeper, not just, you know, folks, I always say there's always somebody out there that's watching later at a later date. Obviously, we're doing it live now. We do it on a podcast, audio-only format. But we've had some interaction from people outside the community. One guy had said, man, I love seeing the good in your community. He goes, I want to come visit it. And I think it's good if you look at it on the university side. Maybe there's a parent out there right now that has this outstanding student athlete, and that student athlete's in high school still trying to figure out where they're going to go to college. Right. I'm telling you right now, this community will embrace you, will pull you in. It's a small town atmosphere with the biggest heart in the state of Texas.
Well, I heard a parent discussing with another parent one day, and they said it just felt like home. And I think that's what this all really feels like, is home. And I think that's the draw.
As I was saying earlier, and kind of jokingly, but it is a little bit true, Russell, you are aware of many hats. And I got to say, first and foremost, man, you guys did incredible work on the rebranding with the SH logo. I was excited when I saw that, just real modern, but it also kind of still takes you back and honors the tradition and the legacy with the Walking Sammy. We've seen that. Garrick Long was wearing the shirt. And, you know, you're kind of all in now with branding and licensing. Let us know just what your role entails and how that's kind of changed and what you enjoy about it.
Well, you mentioned brands and licensing, still working with that. And I'm looking here at the bookstore. 3 years ago when we launched and we had did that during the pandemic, we didn't have near the options that we have now. But when we developed, went in that process, it was important that we maintain true to who Sam Houston State was, and we were really interested in just being strong and bold, traditional, and I think we were able to do that with a modern twist, and we were able to bring back Walking Sammy to generations who really weren't familiar with who Walking Sammy was, and it's taken hold, and it just continues to grow. It continues to expand. And you mentioned wear many hats. I had absolutely no business doing a rebrand for university, but the experience I gained in other fields helped give me that background, and Bobby Williams' trust, and Dr. Hoyt's trust, and now Dr. White's trust, and now my boss, Jeff Harris' trust. I'm a graduate of Sam Houston, longtime resident of Huntsville, although I don't live here now. Orange and white is what I grew up with, and that's what a lot of us grew up with, and it was important to bring that back and make sure that the orange and white was a centerpiece of particularly the athletic branding going forward.
So many exciting things happening here at Sam Houston State University. Again this morning, joined by our friend Russell Martinez, Greg Smith as well from Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home as our Foundation 5 sponsor. We're here on the Hometown Spotlight. Thank you to Garrick Long and the University Bookstore for having us in here this morning. Russell, the transition you mentioned earlier with Bobby Williams and Coach. When I first met him, I called him Coach. He said, "Man, there's still people who call me Coach." And,
absolutely.
And so I always say Coach Williams. But Greg and I talked about this earlier, and the leadership has been so great at this university. And you mentioned Dr. Hoyt. I didn't get to know her a whole lot when I was here, just with kind of how I was driving back and forth from Georgetown before I moved here full time. But got to know Dr. White really well. But solid leadership from Dr. Hoyt and so many others, even before her. Sure. And when I think of Coach Williams, Bobby Williams, I think of and I was thinking about this the other day, and I've got to do some research. I don't know if there's ever been an athletic director, former coach, athletic director that's been part of a program. Of course, as long as he has, that's happened. Right. But taking a program from where they were through all of these ranks, and you're talking Division II and then Division I FCS, and now at the highest level that you can go. What is, and you've grown up in this area. You went to school. You went to Huntsville High School too. Yeah. So you're a Hornet also.
Yeah.
So through and through, and green and whatever, all the colors, man.
Green and whatever.
Green and whatever, orange, everything, man.
Let me get a hold of it, but green and white again.
Green and white, yeah, and orange and white. But as you moved on, Russell, you've seen so many great things. Mm-hmm. What has just all of that transition been like for you, as someone that's been a part of it, yes, but also been in the community and seen this happen?
Well, when I was a kid and around the university and around Hornet football, again, you go back to that tradition, and you don't really at that point think that how far this could go. You knew that there were the Texas and the Texas A&Ms and everybody else out there, but now we're at that level. It's on purpose. The building that's happened over the past several years has been toward this goal. And so it's the next natural step. But if you would have told me 30, 40 years ago that we would be at the FBS level at that time, it would have floored me. But that's just the natural progression we've taken. And you were mentioning the leaders before. They built the foundation for us to be where we are today. And so without their leadership, whether it was the athletic director, the previous presidents, our current president, Dr. White, have positioned us for this next step. And it's taken 40 years to do that. And I was talking to Bobby, I think it was yesterday, and he's probably misquote here, but he's been through 3, maybe 4 conference changes.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And I think it finally dawned on him that there had been that much change over a period of time. But it just feels natural. It's a big step, but I think the track record's there that. The university has put a lot of effort in building a strong program, and that you would expect that to go forward. And obviously, we were appealing to that level, and they pursued us, and it's a good opportunity.
It's a great opportunity, and so many upgrades, and just got through with some upgrades over at the field house, and even more on the way. Mm-hmm. You walk by it, and there's nothing that says national champions, and not just football. I'm talking about the entire university. This is a championship caliber university from an educational standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, all across the board. I do have to try to set the record straight here, though, on one thing, Russell. Greg Smith has been adamant about saying that he is basically the father of Sam Houston State tailgating. Do you have any history or any insight into this, Russell?
That was before my time, Greg.
I'm kidding. It was 2001.
Okay, so that wasn't too far before my time.
Yeah.
Before my time here at Sam. It wouldn't surprise me. It really was. Greg has been a long-time supporter of Bearcat Athletics, a member of this community. I remember seeing Greg Smith involved in Sam Houston before I worked for Sam Houston. So, yeah, he can probably legitimately claim to that title.
Well, I was before you came on, I was telling Rob and the folks, that the first time I rolled into Sam Houston to tailgate, there was one pickup in the parking lot. There was none, and so I started sending out emails and the parents, and we got it going.
Was that AOL dial-up back in the day, Greg?
Yeah, exactly, no doubt about it.
Well, and now look, it's grown so much they moved it to a different location.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks for getting us there.
And we had Brianna now she's married, but it was Brianna Provost. Yeah. We had her on the show talking about the new changes at Bearcat Alley. I do want to dig in a little bit about Conference USA. That day is coming tomorrow. It's crazy to think. Here we are, June, the last day, Russell, and time is flying by.
Yeah.
just wanted to let folks know out there, I'm not in Russell's shoes or anybody in athletics or anything like that, but you guys don't stop working.
No.
You know, it's not like, hey, the summer's here, we're off for the summer. It ramps up in the summer.
No.
This move is just absolutely incredible for this university, and I mentioned it earlier because it benefits the university, obviously. It benefits this community. It benefits this region and this area. Just let us know a little insight, the move to Conference USA, maybe some things that we can expect. I know a lot more TV exposure that's going to be great, national spotlight. Let us know what you're most excited about and maybe a few things that you want to educate folks on about this move.
Well, I think a lot of people going in didn't realize that this was beyond just an athletics move. This is actually something that moves the university up to that next level as well. And the amount of exposure we're going to receive nationally. We were on national television in the playoffs, and maybe if we played a Heisman Trophy candidate here in town. That's previously when we would be on national television. Now, as part of this alignment with Conference USA, that opportunity is going to be there pretty much all the time. And so rather than once or twice a year, every so often, now it's going to be every season. And what that does not only brings exposure to our athletic programs and our student athletes, but also the university, our colleges and our programs that are going on here. I know I was told before I came to work here at SAM that if you look back when we were making those initial championship runs in 2011, 2012, you could see a direct correlation to an increase in requesting information, increase in attendance, and so forth. And so, it's quite well, that's not quite possible. It's going to happen is that as we receive more national exposure, there's going to be more attention brought to the university itself. And so while, we've been competing at a Division I level in other sports for many, many years, now with football going to FBS, it's complete. The package is complete for athletics. This now puts the university itself with all of its programs and colleges on the national platform as well. And I think it's just an outstanding opportunity to bring focus into the many great things that are happening here, not only with athletics, but also in academics.
Yeah, it's a great move. And, when you start thinking now on this larger scale and moving into the FBS and you're playing with the big dogs now. And it's cool, though, because it does bring that exposure. And I said this earlier, and I'm sure you can echo this. I know you well enough, Russell, that we're only limited by what we think. And I was telling somebody once, it was a GA, a young person, and they were like, I don't know about this move and all that. I said, well, one, you got to hop on the train because the train's leaving without you, whether you like it or not.
Whether you're there.
And that person became a friend. I still chat with them. They're great. They've moved on, of course, and now, trying to fulfill their career. But I remember saying this. It just popped into my head, and I said, people can read your outward, what you're thinking. People can sense that. Yeah. And I said, if you've got the right attitude and you're stoked and you're excited about this, what's to say that the next, and you mentioned Heisman, quarterback or something. Yeah. What's to say that the next Heisman quarterback right now is, and we don't know that he is yet because he's in high school, but what's to say that young man said, you know what, I like what I'm seeing out of that university. I like the people. I love the community. Yeah. And so I think that's why it's so important to be excited to get on this train and just to really embrace it. And I think the majority of folks have, and it's important for those that haven't. I'm going to knock on your door and let me come talk to you for 30 minutes. And by the time we get done, you never know what a little bit of food will change somebody's mind. So, but it is great. All joking aside, it's great. It's huge for the university. Yeah. And as you said, I know sometimes we get so wrapped up in athletics, and that is a big part. I mean, I think of it this way, Russell, that when you think of, I don't know, for instance, the Texas Longhorns, first thing that pops into most people's minds is Longhorn football. Right. They don't think that it's this amazing, great law school, because it is. Right. Yeah. But your athletics really is kind of that golden arch, and it is kind of that really huge gateway. But there's so much more to it. It's the academic side. Right. And this is such a renowned school for so many different. My niece wants to come here. She's coming, and that's another reason. I said, well, now you can come hang out with us at the house once in a while. So, Russell, with this move to Conference USA tomorrow, what are some of the events? I know that there's things going on today with freshman orientation. Yeah. Then they're going to have, I believe, out in the plaza, there's going to be some events. Give us some insight to some of the events. I know there's a lot of them going on.
Well, I want to go back just a second and talk about not only what this does for the university in terms of athletics and academics, what it also does for the community, because we're going to start bringing these larger programs into Huntsville. And so Huntsville will for a lot of people, this will be their first exposure to Huntsville and the many great things that are here. And so the community itself is going to benefit with all the new teams that are coming in, because there's some traditions that have fallen off the schedule, and then there's some new faces on the schedule. And so as we move forward when these programs come into Huntsville, we get to put our best foot forward, and they'll get to learn what Huntsville's all about. But as far as
piggybacking on that, I did want to say, because my ADD will kick in, man. When you said that, you think about like what it's going to do for the community. I don't think that I'm not on the city economic board. That's Tammy. She does a great job. Tammy Gann is awesome, and our folks at the city. But I don't think there's any inclination to say, why are all these other hotels being built? Have you seen the hotels that are popping up? And this is going to be huge because now teams that are coming in, they're not going to have to go stay down in the Woodlands or down in that area. They can stay here and they can invest that money right here locally. And that's the impact that you got to think about.
You think of the impact here locally, but then also with our footprint in other cities in this region, Conroe and the Woodlands. We've got a corridor that we get to work with, primarily here in Huntsville. But, the opportunities, not only for us as an institution and as an athletic program, but for this community and any of the other communities that are participating with us, I think they're limitless. There's all sorts of opportunities out there that this movie is going to bring. And so it's going to be exciting. There's going to be some growing pains, but, there were some people who never thought we'd have a national championship of football. And here we are.
There we go.
But as far as the transition, what we're calling the countdown to CUSA, because technically we're not there yet. We'll be there tomorrow. The community's really stepped up to help us. Not only are we doing things here on campus with Ice Cream Social here on campus, at the Woodland Center, and at our College of Medicine in Conroe. We're taking the celebration to them as well. We've got this afternoon at HEB will be another kickoff event from 3 to 6 with opportunities, enter to win opportunities, meet some of the coaches. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I also want to talk about the community, how they're stepping up as well. We've got some of our sponsors and licensees stepping up. HEB, number one, they're one of our sponsors. They're hosting that event this afternoon. Also, Potato Shack is offering a special today in honor of Conference USA and our transition there. Best Box is offering Bearcat and Conference USA cookies. Need to go get some of those. And then also, this is the day to blow the diet because I'm hitting all these places. I'm going to Potato Shack. I'm going to Best Box. Two Blondes Bakeries are also doing some orange and white treats for us. And then HEB this afternoon. So the diet starts next week. But, it was really exciting to see the community offer to help us do this. Because this is not only about the university, it's about the community as well. So
yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Plenty of opportunities. And everybody needs to go and get their season tickets today.
Yep, get on there. And they're not even that bad. Go on there, put them on today, put them, you know what? It's going to be great to be a part of this excitement. And Russell, I'm planning on being there tonight. I want to bring Braylon and Bridget, and we're going to go over there and hang out for a little bit. That's one thing that I wanted to say, too, when I talk about the excellence. And I've got to know some of the professors here. I want to give them a shout out, not just talking athletics, but I've gotten to know several of the professors and former professors, Dr. Caroline Krim, who's been a big part of this community for so long as well. And, we have some folks involved at Rotary, Greg, that teach here at SAM. But you look on the athletic side, one thing that meant a lot to me, and I wanted to say this specifically because it is something that meant a lot to me. I remember when I first came here, the first meeting I had was with you, Coach Keeler, Jason Barfield, and Ben Reichard. And I remember sitting in that room and over at the media suite. And Coach Keeler, I never thought this, Division I coach, I thought, he's probably not going to want to talk to me. Keeler said, hey, man, I've got people in place, that help me. But the first thing he did is he handed me his card. He wrote his number on it. And he said, if you need anything, call me or text me directly. And, man, that meant a lot to me. And even when I was gone, we still texted back and forth. And I was asking how his grandchildren are doing. He was asking how my babies are doing. And so that's the leadership that you get from this university. From the top down, the coaches are passionate. They care about these athletes. And this whole transition is just something that's going to be so great for Huntsville.
Absolutely. And, I can echo what you're talking about because a lot of times it's all about the relationship, and it extends beyond Sam Houston. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people, whether they're here a short time or long time, will always remember are the connections they made and the long-lasting relationships that they have. And it's probably the most important thing.
I know there's a lot more that we can dig in with. Some folks want to know the athletic side. Jason Barfield said, man, I would love to be there today, but he was not able because they got so much going on.
Lots going on.
He has graciously said, I'd love to come on in the next week or two. And so we're going to dig more into the athletic implications and what that means for particular sports. We won't dig into a lot of that, of course, here, but Jason will go over that with us. Before I let you go, Russell, appreciate your time, man. Good to catch up with you. I was on LinkedIn, a great resource to connect with business professionals, and I noticed, and there's a lot more than this, but there was 110,000 Sam Houston State alumni that are on LinkedIn that have at least set up an account and tied themselves into Sam Houston State University. Just as I asked Greg earlier, the business community is so important to this university. From you being here, how much have they meant to you, and what does their investment mean when they invest back in Sam Houston?
One of the things we always hear is from the business community, whether they're associated with Sam Houston or not, but we do hear this from Bearcats because they're so proud, is that our graduates are ready to work day one. We prepare them for the workforce. And lots of times they'll say, we'll choose a Bearcat over, I won't rename the other schools, any day because they are ready to go to work. And so building future leaders, having that business investment, whether it's through hiring our students, whether it's investing in programs here at the university, having that connection, it's so very important because it's what's going to help continue to move us forward.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, appreciate you again. Greg, any final questions, comments from Mr. Russell?
You've been a great friend and done a tremendous job
Appreciate it.
at the university, and glad to call you my friend.
Absolutely. Same here, Greg. Thank you.
All right. Well, hopefully, and maybe in 8 months or however the season goes, you and I be sitting down. Well, not this year because you're not eligible.
Right.
But in the years that we become eligible, hopefully you and I can be sitting down at a party central place having another interview. How does that sound?
That sounds great to me.
Russell Martinez again, doing great work. We appreciate Sam Houston State University, all the great folks such as Russell, many others. We'll step aside. Before we do, though, do want to remind you, final opportunity coming up. We got a shirt to give away today. Text that keyword winner along with your name to 936-339-0139. We'll be back after this. All right, friends, welcome back in. Greg, you got me? I'm trying to figure out which headset you are. Go ahead.
Yep,
there we go.
Loud and clear.
Got you cut on there loud and clear. Welcome back in as we wrap it up here. I want to remind you, final opportunity to text that keyword winner along with your name, 936-339-0139. Man, sometimes I got to take a breath on this show. We're moving cameras around and shifting and
It seems like we just got here.
It
We got
does.
here at 6:45, and here it is already 8 o'clock, and it seems like you just take a breath and it's already gone.
What time do you roost at in the morning?
Oh, I'm usually up by 6 o'clock every morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
You got a busy day.
Yeah, it's always busy.
Someone
Yeah.
always said that the president, has this crazy schedule. And I think I said, man, I bet Greg Smith can rival the president, man,
Well,
with
I tell you
things you
what,
got to do.
It's every day, all day long, but it's very true. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And so I don't work. I get up in the morning with a smile on my face, blessed beyond measure, and enjoy my day.
We wanted to, when you're young, you have those field trips.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was mentioning to someone on the show a while back, Greg, that I don't know why, but this was before Yetis and coolers to put your cans in, that
Right.
kind of stuff, or to keep the full can. And for some reason, I remember I'd go on these field trips. My grandma and my mom would wrap up. It was my mom, but my grandma did it too, and we'd go places sometimes. They'd wrap up a can of soda in foil.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever have that growing
Absolutely.
up? No one does
Sure.
that anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't see the sodas wrapped up in foil. I don't think it actually provided any insulation at all.
Yeah, but that's what we did.
I mentioned that. You're probably wondering, why the heck are you mentioning this?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about a field day, and then here we are on a Friday on our new Hometown Spotlight segment. So once in a while, thanks to folks like Garrick who said, would you come in? We talked to Garrick. We said, absolutely, man. We wanted to highlight the bookstore and what they do. We decided, let's take this on the road. So we're going to do this once in a while. So I'm glad that you get to be our first traveling buddy
It
on
was
this
fun.
one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so a lot of great things happening here. Conference USA. Events, again, tonight starting 3 o'clock over at True Texas Barbecue and HEB. We appreciate all their support of the university. You can come out there, meet some of the coaches. There's going to be some fans there as well. And then just stay up to date. We'll try to post events here on Hello Huntsville. You can visit the website at hellohuntsvilletx.com. One thing I did want to mention, huge shout-out Dr. Shepard. He was named the Region 6 Superintendent of the Year earlier this month.
Guy.
So we put that out. Yeah, and you think of, again, it's everywhere. I've been in communities with really good people, and I've seen, there's leaders who excel, and there's other leaders who just kind of sit back, and that's okay. But in Huntsville, I feel like every leader that we know excels, and they truly get involved, and it's never, ever about them. It's about how can I be a better person to bring this community together.
And every one of those guys and ladies are so approachable.
They are.
They're just one of us. You see Dr. Shepard there in town. He's just one of us at the community events, all the way up to Dr. White. I love Lisa, and we have she and her husband Elliot. We've had a great friendship, and I love everything that she does. She's so personable, so approachable, and her staff is just impeccable.
They are great folks. Again, we'll wrap it up here in just a few minutes. I was going to Garrick is over here in the back. Did you have anything you want to make sure that I add, Garrick? I think we covered a lot here today. There you go. Parking garage, third level, easy access. Parking garage, Sky Bridge, third level, Starbucks. Just walk straight down when you could. Literally walk straight down when you come through the doors. You'll see Starbucks on the left, bookstore right around the corner. You don't have to be a student to be here. I don't even think you have to be a student to hang out in the LSC. I see people from the community around here all the time. And I know that the market, they've got great food at Bridget Night. They have a buffet over at the market, man.
I've eaten there several times.
Man, it's like
it's unbelievable.
You want a great
for the value and the quality of the food. It's incredible.
Yeah, you're not going to beat the market. So again, but come on down to the University Bookstore, support Garrick, and all the great things. I did want to get to a couple of comments before we draw our winner. Santa George was timing in, said, Dad wanted me to go to Sam Houston, but I told him I had to start paying my own way. I joined the Air Force. It took me 20 years to graduate. That's all right, Santa George.
That's right.
Tammy joining us this morning saying, good morning, gentlemen. Our friend Ray Hernandez, the CEO and president, Huntsville, Walker County, saying, eat 'em up, cats. Love that. My sister, we were talking about my niece earlier. She was joining, saying, I'm so excited for Zoe to go there. So we're excited about that. Also, Ronnie Snow saying, can't wait to watch our first official game live as an FBS school. He's going to be at BYU.
I'll see him there.
You'll see him there. Broderick Nixon is there, too. Broderick, good to hear from you. I had Broderick on years ago when I was doing a recording. I'm going to have him back on. Such an inspirational young man that graduated from Sam Houston. I love Broderick. So we're going to get you on, Broderick, sometime, my buddy. And Matt McRobert, the championship punter from Sam Houston, right there saying, we want Alabama. So
yeah,
Matt's already thinking big, man.
Yeah. There's Tom Waddell too.
Yeah, Tom Waddell joining us as well. So good to hear from you. A lot of friends that are joining us here this morning. Rick was saying earlier too. He said, "Hey, I'm watching on Facebook for the first time. I see double digits watching." You know, if you're only on one thing though, we frequently have a lot of folks that watch, but you may be on one certain part of Facebook, so you'll only see 5 or 6. But we stream this to 5 different platforms now. 3 of them on Facebook, 1 on YouTube, 1 on LinkedIn. So whichever one you're on is what you see. But by the end of the show, usually 300-400 views. So it's because Greg Smith. We wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah.
So. Greg, let's pick our winner. We had some text messages coming in today, and we're going to go over here to our keyword. See all this new stuff? You didn't even know about it,
No,
man.
I didn't.
You didn't even know about it.
Yeah. Of course, I've been watching and knowing we have a winner every day, but I didn't know really how you did it.
Greg's going to hold us up in just a minute, but what we're going to do here is can't win again, Matt. Sorry. Matt got picked there on the first. Man, Matt's getting picked here a couple of times. This is a randomizer. And we just got to go through this here because some of these folks have won multiple times. I don't know who this is, Greg, but here we go. We're going to take this down and see what happens. You have to answer to win, by the way. And, Greg, what are they winning today? Hold this up for us.
Well, I have no idea.
Yeah, this is a surprise.
We're going to make the big reveal.
Here we go. Yeah, hold that one up. It's on that one right there, Greg. Here we go. Maybe a little bit higher. All right. Oh, man, look at this. Friends don't let friends wear purple. Just say no. Oh, man. What if we call this person and they are a purple? Let's see. Here we go.
I love it.
Here we go, Greg. Let's see who the winner is today.
Hello.
Hello. Who are we speaking with?
This is Kay Boning.
Kay Boning? I did not know that was you. Man.
We're going to get a smaller size.
Goodness gracious. Kay Boning.
I'm surprised you did not recognize my voice. My goodness.
Yeah, I didn't even have any idea.
Enough.
Oh, I did not have any idea it was Kay. And if I knew it was you, I still would have selected you because you know what? Your name came up. This week we've had over 50 text messages, and you are the winner, Miss Kay Boning. Tomorrow's promise. Hey, so you see, what did you say earlier on Facebook? You were in a hurry to wait. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
So
wait, hurry up and wait. Yeah.
Hurry up and wait. But see what happens, Greg? Whenever you start to be patient and you take time to text in the show, you win prizes.
There you go.
So Kay,
Kay's everywhere.
We got the shirt for you. Well, once we hang up with you, I'll text you a little bit later today, and we'll make sure that we get one that'll work for you. We appreciate you. You're on with us every Wednesday, and just wanted to ask you, what are you most thankful for about Huntsville, Texas?
The community. I love the community.
Love it.
I knew she was going to say you and me, Rod.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I was hoping you'd say Greg
well,
first.
The first thing that came to mind was Rick, but I dragged him here.
He did. It's on the intro. It's on the intro now.
Yeah, and then I was like all my friends and all the people in the community and all my little children that I take care of, and it's kind of like I can't pick one. So
we were at the bottom,
community.
basically. Basically, Greg and I were at the very bottom. That's okay, Kay. I'll see you on Wednesday.
You're in my hugging crowd.
Yeah. So it's always, it's a good, and I told you, you can always say I love you and hug people in Huntsville.
There you go.
Kay Boning is just the doer of all of that. So
one thing we do have a problem.
What is the problem?
We're going to have to give them 2 of these T-shirts because she'll never wear this one because Rick and Kay wear the same shirt every day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So you'll never see it unless we give them 2.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Okay, Garrick has given us the thumbs up to give us 2 of these. And Kay, could you possibly? I know y'all always wear the Tomorrow's Promise. If you have a name badge, maybe next Wednesday y'all could both wear this shirt. I think it would be great.
I think I can arrange that.
Do you have anything against the Purple School that's an hour and a half away from here?
Purple's my favorite color.
Uh-oh.
Well, we're in trouble.
Yeah, too bad you shouldn't have texted to win because that's what happens. Kay, we love you. We appreciate you. Have a great weekend and happy 4th. We'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. There she is, Kay Boning.
That's funny.
She had the kiddos in the background, the children.
She did.
Don't say
children.
kids around her.
Yeah, the children.
Don't say kids because that's the offspring of a goat.
Yeah.
Greg, been a fun one, man. I appreciate this so much.
Good. Enjoyed it, Rob.
So great to catch up with you and Russell Martinez. And what's on your agenda for the rest of the day?
Well, I have a doctor's appointment this morning down in the Woodlands, so I've got to run down there. I got to be there at 9:45. So that's the next step. Little annual checkup.
There you go, Greg Smith.
Bless wants to be in good health.
Taking care of him. Greg, I'm not joking. When I see you, man, I'm thinking, you know what? 25-year-old guy right here.
Oh, yeah, right.
Young buck, ready to roll.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what. I challenge the 25-year-olds to keep up with me.
That's right.
So.
I'm challenging myself to keep up with you, man. So, well, friends, we appreciate Garrick Long for allowing us to be here on our first ever Hometown Spotlight edition of Good Morning Huntsville. As always, appreciate Elliott's Jewelers. He is our studio sponsor, but we brought the studio on the road. You can visit him online at elliotsjewelers.com. Got my ring from him a long time ago, and I've got to add 2 more little studs in there. One is for Bridget, and I've got one for Braylon. Baby Caden will be here within the next 2 weeks.
Can't wait.
Future Bearcat will be here, and future Hornet, so we're excited. And just chime in, hellohuntsvilletx.com throughout the week as we'll keep you updated in all things good happening here in Huntsville, Texas. I didn't want to say celebrating the good because that would kind of play off of celebrating, you guys. What
we do celebrate. We're the champs of celebrating life.
That's right. And we're the champs of promoting all things good in Huntsville. Again, appreciate you, Garrick, Russell Martinez, and everyone for chiming in today. We hope you have a blessed and wonderful weekend. And as we end every single show, I want to remind you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other, friends. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. Good morning. God bless. We'll see you. Happy weekend, everyone.